Broadcasting from Watts Creative Studios and live on Grove Street FM, you're listening to Talk Local to Me, brought to you by the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Talk Local to Me. It is so great to be back. I'm sorry I wasn't in the studio live last week. I was sitting home on COVID quarantine after 2.5 years. It finally caught me. It finally got me. So I was home with my family. My little one came home with it first, and but no, we're all good. Had a little bit of the sniffles, a little bit of sinus headache stuff, but good to go.
Now you're good for 6 months.
That's right. I was like, I can go out and lick somebody. I'm just playing.
Watch out, everybody in the studio.
I feel so free.
Heather's in a licking mood.
Do they know what they did when they had to tell Heather she had to quarantine for 5 days? You know how...
My goodness.
I don't know. Are you still married?
I am still married.
All right.
So my husband actually spent a lot of time up in his shop. He's tried to stay away from us as much as possible. And it was funny because when my daughter tested positive first, and so we quarantined her to her room. We were like, you can't come out of your room. No, I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, that was more for me than anyone else because she takes control of like the television every day, and I actually got to watch my own shows. It was lovely. But then as soon as I tested positive, she was like, nope, it's all. She's like, I'm out. Yeah. She broke free and
we got it
roamed the house.
After Disney, I caught up. I've never watched. We got back from Disney Universal, and I was telling Woody a couple weeks ago, I've never watched any of the Harry Potters.
Oh my!
So I'm like, hey, I'm here for 5 days, so I watched them all. They're amazing. I've seen bits and pieces, and I know about it, but I never watched it, an actual full movie, start to finish. So we watched them all.
I am a Harry Potter fanatic. So, I love Harry Potter. We probably watched the entire series a good, once a month.
Oh,
maybe.
Wow. Okay.
Or every couple months. Like, that's our go-to. Like, if we're just sitting around the house bored, we're like, let's start Harry Potter. And we start from the beginning and we roll right on through it. And I still cry. Like, I still cry when Sirius Black dies. That just touches my... And Dobby. Oh, sorry for anyone who hasn't seen it.
If you ain't seen it by now.
If you ain't seen it by now,
since 2000.
And Darth Vader's Luke's father for everybody.
What?
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler. So, but I get all emotional. I get all up in my feelings and when I watch Harry Potter. It's great. So, I'll go out and buy stuff for myself. Harry Potter mugs and...
That's funny.
I love it. But so I am here today in the studio, and I've got Brandon Brown with Brown's Heating and Air here with me today. And Brandon is, not only one of our members, he's been one of our champion sponsors for a couple of years now. But I wanted to have him on the show. We've had some crazy weather.
We have
stuff going on, and it's hot one day, it's snowing that night. Back and forth, and people get kind of confused on what the heck to do with their heating systems. And so I want to kind of have you on and chat a little bit about, going into the spring and what people should be doing with their heating and their cooling. And, also, I have seen a lot of people complaining about high electricity bills all of a sudden.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's just because AEP jacked up the rates or what they did. But
they have inflated some extra charges that they were allowed to do under some new guidance from the White House.
Okay.
I have seen that. If you compare the bills, you will see a little bit difference. But we have been to a lot of customers where the heating system or things we find outside of the heating system can cause the electric bill to go up. I mean, we get calls from customers all the time. Even last week, my electric bill was $500 and we keep it at 67, 66. It shouldn't be the heat. And I tell them, no matter what you keep your thermostat on, if your heat pump is not working, you're low on Freon and you're on electric heat, it comes on and runs at 67 or 77, you're still using 100% of that electric heat until you get your unit fixed, and your meter is going to be spinning like crazy. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter really what you set it on. You can cut it, unless you cut it off. It's still going to run to maintain whatever temperature you set it at. So if there's an issue with your unit, it's dirty, your filter's dirty, the unit has low Freon, and that electric heat has to run more, no matter what it's set at, it's going to run as soon as it calls because it knows the heat pump is not up to par, and your electric bill will go up. So the the temperature setting does make a difference. Now, if it's really cold in the teens and you leave it at 80, you're going to be a higher bill than somebody at 70, but the bill is still going to go up because it's relying on that electric heat every time it runs.
Okay. Yeah. So now, how do you know whether your unit is low on Freon? Like, how is there something you can look for?
You can look now. Most people have digital thermostats.
Okay.
If you're looking at your thermostat when it's running and you notice the aux heat, AUX heat is on a lot, the emergency heat is on a lot with the backup, is you can be on regular heat, but it will, when that kicks on, the thermostats will let you know that you're in second stage of heat. If you notice that a lot, your electric heat is running more than it should, and that's when your electric bill is going to be at its worst. Now, you really notice it a lot in the summer. You'll notice it quicker because there is no backup cooling. If it don't cool and your Freon's low, your house is going to be hot. You're going to come home and you're going to call us and say, "Hey, my unit's not cooling," and you're going to know it's different for cooling than heating.
See, I never would have thought to have checked it during the winter time when you're running heat versus, when I think of Freon, I think of air conditioning.
Yes.
I don't think much about it in the
and you need it in heat mode.
winter.
In heat mode too, you'll need the Freon, and that's when a lot of electric bills go up. And of course, it's always, I don't know if they do something at the end of the year, between years, because it's usually you see a lot of people complain between December and February. So I don't know if AEP gets to the end of the year and they're allowed to like tack on more to catch up from the year or something. I don't know. It's weird.
Well, I know some people, like I know, for instance, we used to do one of those like monthly like savers plans, it's like a monthly payment plan.
Yeah.
And then
if you use way much more, they bill you at the end of the year for the extra.
Right. And I'm trying to figure out, like, because I was looking at my bill the other day, and it hasn't gone up much. I think it's gone up $15. I mean, that's not, I've seen some people say theirs has doubled or even tripled, which is, to me, that's crazy. But yeah, I did notice that it had gone up, and it didn't look like, I think at one point we were on that plan, but I don't think we are now. So I don't know if that's something you also have to call and
you have to talk to AEP
make
about
sure
it.
you do it.
I tried that years ago, and you could watch your bill because it'll tell you if you're above or below. And when you get close to December, you may be above and owe them $1,000 and didn't know it because you were only paying so much.
Right.
So sometimes it's easier just to pay it as it goes. But there's a lot of things. Definitely need your system. If you haven't got it maintenance, you need to do it. Call and get a maintenance, a cleaning, a check of your unit. We have membership plans. I mean, for twice a year, we come out and clean them, check them out, and no overtime charges. You get discounts on repairs. That's not a necessity, because I always tell people when you have a car, every 3,000 miles, you change your oil and you check your fluids, you rotate the tires. Well, a heat pump runs 20% more a year than your car does. And if you don't check it or maintain it, why would you check and change your oil in a car, but you don't check it, your heat pump? And they have coils just like a car radiator. If your radiator in your car gets clogged, you notice your temperature going through the roof. Well, the same with the unit. If you don't change your filters or get them clean, the airflow is not good, and your compressor's overworking. Your utility bills go up, and you shorten the life of the unit. So definitely change your filters and get it cleaned and checked regularly.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because actually on my way here, my blower or my heat went out in my car.
Uh-oh.
Like my blower just it's gone. So I'm hoping maybe it just decided to take a break for it'll cut back on later, because I can't have no heat. That's not a good thing.
Not.
Now, when you're looking at changing your air filters, how often should those be changed?
We say monthly.
Okay.
I know there's packs at Lowe's or different places you go that say a 3-month filter. I don't like people getting in the habit of waiting every 3 months. Your house may be perfectly clean, and you can check it in a month and maybe go a couple extra weeks. But if you've got kids, you've got animals, you've got doors opening and closing, I say always open the grill. When you get your electric bill, I tell everybody, when you get your electric bill, open the grill and check your filter. That's when I also say change your smoke detector batteries once a year. When you get your electric bill, just note, make a reminder, change your smoke detector batteries. But every month you get the electric bill or notification, check your filter. I change mine. I check it every 30 days. Sometimes we can go 5 weeks. Sometimes we got to do it in a month. If it's spring and we're in a drought and we're in and out of the house and dust, it will suck it in. And that's some things too in this winter. I tell people, check your windows, check your doors. If it's really cold and windy out, put a towel on the bottom of the door, because when your unit comes on, if there's any cracks, are gaps in your windows or doors, it's going to suck that cold air in from outside, and that makes it harder to heat your house as well.
So when we're having weather like this, where it's hot one day, then a couple days later it's like 12 degrees outside, and people are cutting their AC on and they're putting their heat back on. How does that does that do any, like, I wouldn't say damage to your unit, but like how is that working with your electricity bill?
It won't affect your electric bill as much. It can damage the unit if you do it too fast and too much. The units are, if you have a heat pump, they're designed to switch back and forth, but we always tell people, if you're going to do that and it's running in one mode, wait 20, 30 minutes before you do it, switch over to cooling, just switch everything just so that the compressor and unit has a little break to the pressures to settle down before it switches, because you don't want to just reverse that freon pressure quick. Most thermostats have a 5-minute delay anyway when you switch them. Mm-hmm. Some of them can be override and you don't know. So I always tell people, give it a little while for your back and forth. But if you have to switch it, just let it rest a little bit before you do switch it.
Because I always wonder, my husband does, like, he has it where our temperature sets, like during the day when we're not home, he keeps it lower. And then, like, at a certain time of day, it'll start warming back up. And I'm always wondering, like, is it even worth doing that? Like, what's the point?
You can do it too much. A lot of people, I tell them when they're scheduling, that's one thing about programming. They'll say when I leave in the summer, I'll set it up to 78, 9, because I'm not going to be here. Let it go on and get up. And then come on and go from 79 to 69. Mm-hmm. Well, it's not going to do it. And you're going to actually use more energy, because an air conditioner is designed to first pull your humidity out, mm-hmm. and then cool the space, because the humidity is the first thing you want to pull out. So if you're going from a huge difference of temperature, it may take 7-8 hours to catch up, and then it's cutting back off to the next day, and then you can have mold issues, you can have moisture issues, allergy issues. So I always tell people, if you are going to leave for the day and schedule it, I wouldn't go no more than 4 to 5 degrees.
Okay.
Right now in the summer, I leave mine on 68 in the summer, even if I'm not there. And then now it's down 60, 66, 68 in the winter. And so even in the summer, it's 68. And it's just because once you get to that temperature and it's maintaining, it's easier to maintain with the humidity in the summer gone than it is trying to pull the humidity out.
Okay. I'm going to have to go home and check on him, because, he does that every day. And I just sit there and think, I don't know what the sense is in that. He also does, like, if we're going on vacation, he'll cut it. He'll cut it all the way up.
I'll do that for a week, because mine's on the app now. So if I leave for a whole week or longer, in the summer, I'll cut it up to like 76, 77. But the day before we coming home, I'll set it down about 4 or 5 degrees. And then that morning we leave, I set it down to where I need it, so it's not running all day trying to pull the humidity first.
Okay. Well, all right. That makes sense then. I guess a week wouldn't be as bad as doing it every day.
Every day could be, just depending on our weather. Virginia's so crazy with the...
So I want to talk with you too about the Halo systems you guys do in
yes,
that y'all can install. I've had quite a few people tell me that they're awesome. Tell us a little bit about those and how that helps to kind of. I know you said it can help like filtrate the air.
Yeah, Halo is it's an air purifier that we can put in the ductwork that runs when your fan runs, and what it does, it's a UV light combined with a hydrogen peroxide type machine that puts peroxide molecules in the air. It's kind of what they'll use in a surgery room to keep everything clean. And what it does is it puts it through the air. Well, what it's designed to do is to kill anything that comes across that coil, like allergens, dust, and dander. It has been tested against COVID. It's been tested against allergens, smoke odors, and what it does is as the air passes the Halo, it kind of kills that stuff. So it's actually purifying the air and making it cleaner for you to breathe, as well as easier to breathe. We have a lot of people call us back with severe allergies, kids with allergies, that we put these Halos in, and they cut down doctor's visits dramatically. We have one customer whose daughter is severe asthmatic, and they would go to the doctor monthly almost. And she's actually we have a review, I need to find it on Google, she left us, where since putting that in, that she sleeps better. The asthmatic attacks at home have cut down. She can breathe better at home, and it's tremendously helping her with asthma and allergies throughout the year. cut down and make her healthy. So we've got a lot of testimonials of that and how it works. I put one in my house, and our kids and my wife had allergies, and it's cut down that. We haven't been to a doctor for actual allergies in probably a couple of years now.
How much do those usually run?
They run around 800 installed.
Okay.
They come with a 3 to 4 year warranty, and we keep a check on it and clean them and check them on our routine maintenance. So it's worth it, hands down, because of what you get out of it and what you can save, and you just notice a different environment when you walk in your house.
I may have to look into that thing.
Woody, you got 2 of them, right?
Yeah, we got one installed downstairs because we needed a new unit first, and so they installed a Halo on that, and I noticed a difference the next day, and just it honestly it just smelled different. It just felt different in there, and I've got really bad allergies, asthma. You check off everything, I got it. And then so I had him install one on the upstairs unit too, and they work great. Like you really can't tell the difference like the next day once it's run, and I just a different feeling. Yeah.
So my husband has bad asthma, allergy type stuff, and he does the inhalers, but he like every morning you can always tell when he's up because you just hear. It ain't pretty. I mean, you hear hacking and all kinds of stuff coming from the bathroom, and he's just it's just his more because I always like for the last couple of years I'm like, you got COVID? I ask him every day. He's like, no, this is my normal self. But how does that work with COVID and stuff like that? Does it help with?
It's been tested to kill it on contact and the flu within 10 minutes of it passing through.
Huh.
And it actually also helps with what it does is when it sends these molecules out through all your registers. I've noticed people also notice that their houses have become cleaner because it kills like pet dander and dust molecules that will grow before it can grow. And their lab has it going through your air and killing flu and COVID within 10 minutes of contact, of weakening and killing enough where it's not a high viral load anymore.
Well, I know that you had donated one to our silent auction last year, and Libby Orman, I know a lot of people have heard her on the show with us before. She won it, and she constantly tells me that is like the best investment that she's ever made, like with that, because she said you can definitely tell a difference. Yeah. She talks very highly about it.
Yeah, we install it cheaper than most companies around. Of course, if they hear what we're charging, they'll undercut us just to get it or something. But I know what others have charged statewide, and we're definitely lower, probably 20-30% lower. I know some of them doing it $1,500 or more, but we're not, like I said, we're not looking to become rich off of it. We're a business. We mark it up like we do normal things, like you have to do for a business, but we do believe in it, and it's a good product, and we stand behind it, and it's definitely worth the investment for anybody. So I would highly recommend getting your unit cleaned first. If you're going to get one, let us clean the coils, disinfect them. You check your blowers, check your duct work, and get it in before, so you're starting off on a good clean unit when you do get it installed.
Okay. I you just mentioned it kind of brought to mind, you were talking about markups and stuff. I was going to ask you a little bit about, I keep seeing people talking about like in the construction industry and in different trade, it's hard to get parts, it's hard to get help.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's getting worse.
How are you, like, I was about to say, how are you seeing that in the last year, with the HVAC?
Well, we were having that issue, especially with the labor industry, getting worse the last couple of years, and now it's getting even harder. Just a lot of kids, young kids aren't as interested in the trades as they were when we were coming in. So it's been harder to especially find experience. So what we've been doing is really invested in the ones we've already got, like we have been, but even more. They're young. We got a lot of younger employees that we see a lot of potential in. So we're investing a ton of time, trainings, role playing, riding around with them, investing to make them more experienced, so that'll keep our company, for a long time where it needs to be. For this area, because it is getting harder, and it's starting to get hard enough where if people experienced, have been in there for a while, it's almost like they come in and interview you. You're not interviewing them, because either you pay them, almost like professional sports. You either pay them what they're asking to get a good quarterback, or you take a draft and hope you get somebody. So it's definitely getting harder with that. The materials is finally catching up a little bit. We are having still having issues like everybody else with certain things that aren't being made because of the employment across the nation. but it's improving slowly.
I find it funny that more people aren't looking into trade, because I've noticed that those and I mean, I've heard your story before. Just, people aren't going to 4-year colleges as much anymore. They can't afford it. I mean,
Right.
it's just not affordable. And then you have people that have gone for 4 years and they come out and they still don't know what they want to do, or they can't find a job making the money they need to pay back half the student loans they have. But in the trade field, it seems like they're making good money,
Yeah.
decent money. They're learning something that they're going to be able to take with them through the year and grow. And like you started out working for someone in the HVAC field, correct? And then
Correct,
you
yep.
branched out, and here you are.
Yeah, I went to college half a day my junior, senior year, and high school
Half
half
a
a day.
day.
Yeah, I did they have the trade program.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant like you just went to college for like half a day.
Oh,
I said,
no.
Nope, I'm out.
No, I actually went junior and senior year. I would go there, CBCC half a day, and take heating and air classes, and then go back to high school. So actually, the year I graduated high school, I graduated college with my 2-year certificate the same month.
Gotcha.
So, and then it was with internships and apprentices. I owed the college nothing.
Mhm.
So I started with no college debt and never had any college debt. So just started learning heating and air and grew from there.
And I think that's what we had Alicia Smith with the Build Smart Institute on a few weeks ago. And I think, what they're bringing to the area, kind of similar to what they have in Alta Vista with the
Yeah.
Virginia Technical Institute, having these colleges where you can go and learn those trades. And especially I've seen in the past couple of years with people getting laid off.
Mhm.
When businesses were shutting down, and people just saying, hey, I'm just going to go on a completely different, I'm going a completely different route with my life. Having places where they can go, or businesses, like you said, where y'all are training them, is really important. And again, they're making good money.
Yeah, and we've started recently. We had a couple high school students the last 6 months actually come by a couple days a week. They get out of school early and actually just more of an internship, but like a shadow.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been shadowing, and we'll put them with a service tech for a few hours or an install crew, and just see if they really like it. And they may want to go to plumbing or electrical or something else, but they fell in love with it. So we're gonna probably this summer, while they're out between high school and college starting, we're going to work them, part time, let them come in a few days and work and learn the trade. And then maybe that'll grow from that, so we can start getting more people involved in the trades. So we are starting to offer certain things like that. If kids are about 17, 18, close to it, and they're interested, but they don't know where they're going to go yet. So, give them us a call. We'll do some shadowing for a few times, and they do it free. They just come ride a few hours, and then we'll start an internship maybe during summer, or even a day or two. We don't want them to have to work full summer on their, senior
Right.
summer off. Like, we'll give them 2 or 3 days and actually pay them and to start working, and when they can work, and see if they want to keep doing it. And then if they like it, they may, turns into a full-time job.
Yeah. And can I just say, there is nothing wrong, people, with working an honest 8-hour day and actually getting a little dirty, working a little hard, a little sweat every now and then. I mean, I think that's where, and honestly, I feel like that's kind of where we're at some, and with the generation that's coming up, is like they just want to walk in and sit at a desk, or, they want to. And this is just my opinion. This is not the opinion of the CVABC or anyone else. I'm just saying, like, you need to get out there and put into it what you want to get out of it. You want to make $15, $16, $20 an hour. Get out there and learn something. Get out there and learn a trade. Don't just assume that it's going to be handed to you. I just think that that's a big, I see a lot of, I think I mentioned this a few weeks ago. I saw a post on one of the local channels where someone was hiring at a fast food restaurant, and they were, starting. It was just a base level starting position. And they were like starting $11 an hour. That is minimum wage now, folks.
Yep.
$11 an hour. It is nothing to, get upset about. That is starting minimum wage. But people were, literally, they were mocking her on her post about, you're not going to get that. You need to be paying $15, $16 an hour. No. For a base level, I'm just saying.
You got to start somewhere.
You got to start. And I'm not saying you have to be making that for a long period of time, but you have to start somewhere and get some skills. Learn what you what you're doing. I mean, I go somewhere and my meal's wrong, and I'm thinking to
Right.
myself, so you want me to pay you $15
Well, I mean,
and you can't remember to put ketchup in my bag?
And
I mean, I
also
just
think,
what's
and also
happening?
think about what's coming. You keep on pushing, you're going to start having more and more touchscreen ordering, and people going to lose their jobs.
mhm.
Self checkout.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need 4 people at a cash register when you can buy a machine now to do it, and all you got to do is cook and put the food out. So you're going to start costing yourself jobs and opportunities. The more we push for people to do that, then there's an answer for it. You're not going to change business how they operate, because you just demand it. So you got to start somewhere.
Can I just say that reminds me of this meme I saw about a month ago when they were talking about getting their W-2s from places. Did you see the one where someone put that they had called Walmart and said they wanted their they needed their 1090 or their W-2 or something and they said, well, what did you work? She said, I worked self-checkout every time I came in.
Oh, Lord.
They hung up on her. I thought that was the funniest thing because she was talking about having to actually do her own job there.
I did see that. That is funny. And speaking of different trades, before your first part of me is over, I do have an announcement to make for Brown's Heating and Air.
I was wondering. I didn't want to ask you because I wasn't sure if you were ready to share.
We are.
So I'm glad you're going to share.
Yeah, and this will be the first. First. I don't even think I shared this on my podcast yet.
Breaking news.
Breaking news on Talk Local to Me. We have a plumbing department opening in a month.
Yes.
So
I'm super excited about that.
Brown's Heating, Air, and Plumbing will be. Yes, we're adding to our trade expertise. Have a master plumber already signed, ready to come. He's working out where he's at now, working out his leave. We've already got some projects lined up for him. So we are looking for some plumbing apprentices, a couple helpers under him to want to learn plumbing. So if you don't want to do heating and air and you want to learn some plumbing or know somebody that wants to get in that field, please reach out to us. It's going to be, I think we got a lot of potential there.
I'm going to say much needed, much needed. That is one of the most asked about service fields that I see constantly where people are saying, I need a plumber. I need a plumber that will show up. I need a plumber that will, do what they, and there are a lot of plumbers in our area, but they're backed up. I mean, there's a lot of work out there.
It's a lot of trades are being really hard. Electrical too. And that's coming down the road, I hope. So I'm hoping to add electrical as well.
Yep.
But plumbing is on board, so
that's
that is
good to know.
official.
I send a lot of Gibson Plumbing. I work a lot with them.
Yeah.
So it'll be nice to
and we're not looking to come in and steal
too.
anybody's work. We know a lot of good plumbers because I use them all the time. We refer them. We've got projects already guaranteed to us that would only give us the plumbing if we did the heat and air and the plumbing as a package. So none of the projects we've got now was taken from anybody. I'm not in that business where we come out looking for people's work that are already doing it. There's a lot of great, like you said, heating and air and plumbers companies out there. There's a ton of work. There's enough work for everybody.
Right.
So we could all work together. And we're not looking to take anybody's work. We still have people and plumbers that we recommend and work close to. So we didn't do this to take anybody's work, but there was a need there and an opportunity for us to add it and try to grow another division because I don't like want all these stuff in one basket. We've been doing heating and air 17 years now, which does good and it's great when we've grown it. We've got 25 employees doing just heating and air. So now we want to grow a plumbing department, do the same thing.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for coming on with me today. I know you have to go. And,
thank you.
Real quick while you're, if you're listening in, y'all need to be following. Brandon also has a podcast here on Grove Street FM, Cool Talk.
Cool Talk.
And he is before me. I was actually on the show with him today. His show starts at 10 o'clock. So make sure you're subscribing to that. If you subscribe to Talk Local to Me, make sure that you're also subscribing to Cool Talk.
Please do. Thank you. And please call if you're in the area for your maintenance, like we talked about, heating and air. Let us line up your membership and get your systems cleaned and checked. It's never is a bad time to do it. Spring's coming, so let's get on the books now because we're starting to book up. And we will take care of you. And if you have a high electric bill and want to check, please let us know so we can give you some options and maybe fix that or help with that.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending the day with me.
Great day. Thank you, Woody. Thank you,
Heather. Sir. And everybody get your Halo system.
Yes.
If you got some allergies and asthma, speaking from experience, call them up. And it doesn't take that long to install. It's not like they have to,
Every time I hear people talk about the Halo system, I think about that Beyonce song, the Halo.
See, I think about the game. I think about the
yeah. Okay.
and the new series coming to Paramount Plus. See, I'm
all
a
right,
geek out.
here's a geeky gamer over
Sorry, everybody. You just lost half your listeners.
here. Well, bye. All my subscribers gone.
Sorry.
So anyway, yeah. Now, so I just wanted to, for the second half of the show, there's me and Woody in
Yeah.
here.
Sorry.
We're going to chat a little bit. I wanted to let everyone know about our upcoming annual Evening of Elegance Awards and our keynote speaker, who is going to be coming to this event. And we have not really posted it out to the public yet. We've sent it out to our membership because we wanted to make sure that they could, whoever wanted tickets, could get tickets, so we didn't sell out ahead of time. But I am really excited. One of the things I think in the last 2 years that I have strived really hard to do, and especially with our Empower Women series, I've brought in some really high level speakers to our area, people that normally don't come to Lynchburg, Virginia, to speak. And, I've reached out to several speakers bureaus and things, and I've had some pretty cool people come out, and I'm looking forward to our keynote for this year's Empower event, which we'll unveil a little bit later down the road. But with our Evening of Elegance, it's our annual business awards dinner. We do this every year. We have businesses in our area that have been nominated in different categories, multiple categories, small business, large business of the year. We have retail business and restaurant. And, we try really hard to kind of find a category niche for most of what our membership base is under. We have the Rising Star Award, which Woody Watts over here
I just
has
filled
been
out
nominated.
I just filled out my form for you, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
send it back. Yeah, I was flattered, and
I'll have
I
to
love
read
the
that.
questions too, because you never know what to expect, and then to know that there's I don't mean this in a bad way, but to know that please don't anybody get mad at me, but to know that there's actual thought behind it.
Yeah.
Because you're nominated, you're like, oh, that's great, I'm flattered, somebody, but then the questions that you ask are really for a business owner like mine, it made me think of some of my successes and stuff like that. And it's just really nice. It's nice to know that, it's being judged on,
Merit.
what you've done. And it's not just a
Popularity
a
contest.
popularity contest. So it's nice.
Yeah, so and that's one thing we do a little differently with ours. It's funny because I've had a couple people, I'll message them and say that they've been nominated for the award, and the first thing I get back is, "Oh, where's the link to send people to vote?"
Yeah.
And I said, "No, we don't do that. That's not how we handle this situation. Ours is a very true, judging. It's basically what happens is we have a nomination period. Business owners can nominate members or businesses in all the different categories. And, it doesn't matter how many times you were nominated by how many people. That doesn't go into the factoring. It's, we take those nominations in, whether you were nominated once or 12 times.
Yeah.
Then what we do is we send every nominee a questionnaire. And in that questionnaire, we ask them questions that, like you said, they're thought-provoking. They make you actually brag about yourself. And I have some people that are just like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to say. I don't want to talk about myself.
Hard. It's something you really never think about. It's I know it's been a busy 2 years, but then to have to sit and actually for a second, list some of the stuff out it's really flattering, and it really makes you I'm really blessed. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad somebody noticed. So it's a positive thing.
And the reason behind that, and I tell people the reason we're asking you to do that is because there is no the judging is not like I said, it's not where everyone gets on a link and just votes for whoever they want and they send it to their 20 closest friends and say, hey, just vote for this guy because I know him. We have a judges panel that is selected. And we do the selection after all the nominations are in so that we can make sure that we don't ask anyone to be on the panel that has nominated or works for someone who has nominated or has any close really ties to our nominees. So we work really hard to vet out who we have come in as judges. It is nobody on our staff. Our staff completely backs out of all of the judging. All we do is hand out, the folders with all the different questionnaires to each judge, along with a, kind of a sheet that has, 1 through 10, you have to break down all the different categories, and we give them things that they have to judge each nominee on. And, we tally up those scores once everything's done, and that's where we get our winners from. So, these judges may not know you from Adam. So if you send in a questionnaire and it says, what's your greatest accomplishment, and you just write one sentence that says, well, I started a business, here I am, or I now have 20 new customers. I mean, that's not going to show you better than the person who wrote like 5 paragraphs about everything they do.
I might need to go back and
yeah, I mean, you can go back and
just
resend, but I really have had some people that have sent me just like 1-line answers, and I will actually, if I see something like that, I will write them back and go,
I need a little bit more.
You might want to put a little more thought
brag
into
on
this.
yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, so this year that's what our Evening of Elegance is really about. It's kind of our annual meeting of the membership, as it is. And normally I get up and I drone on about the Central Virginia Business Coalition and what we've accomplished. And, I think a lot of people know what we've done. And I'm tired of getting up there, and y'all can go ahead and write this on the record books for today, February, 16th, that Heather said she's tired of talking at all these at the event for 30 minutes.
That's the sound clip for the day.
So that's where I just play it the rest of the day. Heather's tired of talking. So this year I decided to bring in a keynote speaker, somebody that I thought would be encouraging and uplifting. After the past couple of years, I just want someone to come in and really talk to these business owners and to the people in our community. And about a year or so ago, I was brought a book that was written by a young man. His name is Alex Sheen. And he has a nonprofit called Because I Said I Would. And for those who want to look him up, you can type in Because I Said I Would, and you can find out a lot more information about him. But he is a 5-time TED Talk speaker. And he has he started this movement back when his father passed away. And, one of the things that he said was that his father was an ordinary man. By no means did he, invent anything. He wasn't extraordinary. He was ordinary, but what he did do was he kept his promises. And that was one thing that was really impacted his son. And when Alex had to give his eulogy, that's what he talked about, was the importance of a promise made, a promise kept. And he started giving out promise cards to anyone who needed them. And he's given over 3 million promise cards out since he started this.
That's great.
He sends them for free, and he's given them to 173 countries across the world. And he visits about 100 businesses a year. And this year he is coming to Forest, Virginia to our event, and he's going to be our motivational keynote speaker. And I could not have been any more excited. I really, like I said, the book touched me, and it's one of those books where it's not a lot of heavy reading, because some of it is like pages, like you'll flip to a page and it just shows like one of the promise cards that they receive back, because a lot of people will write them and send them back to him, and he has like this big wall he puts them on. And I mean, some of them they're simple promises. Some say, I promised to volunteer more this year. Some is, I promised to give blood because more people may need my blood than I do, and there's some that are really, really thought provoking. Like there's some people that wrote back and said, I promised not to kill myself this year because I said I would. I mean, it's really, it's big. And when you read the book, when you're done with it, you sit there and you think, wow, my problems are kind of trivial compared to some that you see these cards going back. And so he talks about the power of a promise, and really, whether it's your personal life, whether it's in your business, whether you promise to do something for your employees, your customers, how important is it for you to keep that promise? How important is it to build that trust? And he was, I was watching one of his videos on YouTube, and he said, all these people talk about, to make a difference in the world, we need to have more money and build better equipment, and find breakthrough vaccines and breakthrough medical medicines. And he said sometimes it's really about people just doing what they say they're going to do and doing it. It can take one person to change a life.
Well, in today's environment, nobody trusts what anyone else is saying anymore. So
right,
you're only as good as your word.
Exactly.
And if you spout things and you never follow through, you are in a line of what is out there today.
Mm-hmm.
And to be different means that you know what, you're actually sticking to your word. You're
Mhm.
honoring, the principles. So that's a very good message.
Yeah,
That's going to be great. That's going to be a great.
I have
keynote.
not. I'm so excited to hear him. And actually, I kind of was fangirling a little bit because when I book these speakers, like I said, I go through a speakers bureau,
Yeah.
and I talk with their agent, and
Well, you even had Good Bones on last.
yes, Mina.
Mina was last year. That's huge.
I had Mina Starsniak last year with
Yeah.
Good Bones, and Caitlin Roy DeBellis with
Yes, that's right.
from the Sandy Hook.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
yeah.
yes,
So
so-
you're knocking them out of the park.
Yeah, so they came in, and I had to deal with their agents, and I really
Yeah.
didn't meet them, the speakers, until the day of, or like maybe the day before. Now with Alex though, I reached out to, because I said I would, and I was really shocked when they messaged back and they were like, yeah, Alex wants to do a Zoom meeting with you. And
That's
so
awesome.
it wasn't me and an agent, it was truly him and I.
Yeah.
And like when he popped on the screen, I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm sitting here talking
Aw.
to, it's so great. But yeah, so, and we actually just talked again yesterday, kind of finalizing some stuff. So, and I'm really excited because he told me that this is the first year he has I think he said it's his nephew is 12, and his mom had promised him that once he got old enough, he could come with Alex to an event. And I think he's going to bring him
Aw, there you go.
to our event. And so it's going to be really cool.
That's good.
But so if you're interested in attending, you want to hear Alex speak, you want to come out and have a fabulous dinner, we're holding this event at West Manor Estate in Forest. And so it'll be, great food. It's March 17th, so it's a Thursday evening from 5:30 till about 7:30, 8 o'clock. And tickets are $55, so that includes your meal and coming in and hearing Alex speak. He actually will be bringing promise cards for every attendee. So you'll get those, and you'll also have the opportunity. He'll have books there. He'll have some of his, his shirts, and then he actually does a meet and greet after his speech. So you can actually stop by, have him sign anything that you purchase, and those funds all go back to, because I said I would.
That's awesome.
And they just started a camp for children as part of that funding that I know he's really excited about, and he'll talk a little bit more about at the event. But definitely encourage you to look him up, see what he's all
Read
about.
the book before, right?
And well, you can, or you can, come listen to him and get the book afterwards.
yeah.
And really, like I said, it's an easy read because
Yeah.
it's very simple. He talks about different things. Like one of the things he did, he walked across the entire state of Ohio
Good Lord.
in 10 days.
Gosh.
In honor of the 3 women that were held captive. Was it Gina DeBerry? I'm gonna get their names wrong. The 3 women that had been held captive for 10 years in Ohio, that broke free and got loose. It's DeBerry, DeJesus, Gina Berry. I can't remember the other one, but these women had been held, and they got free. And
Yeah, Michelle Knight,
yes,
Amanda Berry,
Berry,
and Gina
Gina DeJesus.
Yes, there you
Yes,
go.
I knew I was messing the
Good
Amanda.
job. You did great.
I was getting there, but he So he walked. It was a day for every year. So they've been held captive for 10 years. So he walked across the entire state of Ohio for 10 days, and he actually ended at the house where they had been kept.
Oh my gosh.
And so, and he did it because he said he would, and he did it to
There you
raise
go.
money. And so, I mean, it's just little things like that. And I am hoping to have him on the show with me the Wednesday before, because
Yes.
we'll be there on Thursday. So I'm
That'd be
hoping to
great.
have him. I don't know if he'll necessarily get to come in studio because I'm
Yeah.
not sure what time he's getting in, but have him call in. But I think it'll be very uplifting. So again, if anyone would like to join us, would like a ticket, like I said, it's $55, and you can message me, Heather, at CVABC, so Central Virginia, ABC, so CV ABC store. It's what I always tell people. CVABC, just leave off the store. Heather at CVABC.org. And let us know, your name, how many tickets you would like, so we can get you on the list to get in. And we're looking forward to having a packed house for him. And I just think it's going to be a great jump start to our year.
That's going to be great. That's going to be a good event.
Yes.
Plus, I mean, your nominees are fantastic. I mean,
We
right?
right?
I mean,
We have,
come
we
on.
do have fabulous nominees. We really do in every category. You know, when I started seeing the nominees come across, I was thinking to myself, these are fabulous picks. Like these people really put a lot of thought into, you know, for example, I'll try and give y'all a few. Like I know Large Business of the Year, we have Foster Fuels
Yeah.
is
Gosh,
a
they do a
nominee.
lot.
Fortress Foundation Solutions, FNS Building Innovations. We have, gosh, Small Business of the Year. We have so many. That's
You know,
craziness.
There's some stellar businesses. A lot of them have been on your show, by the way.
They
Like,
have.
and so if you think back about the last year, like I mean, there have been some just knockout businesses in this area that keep on trucking, that really don't get a lot of recognition. They don't get a ton. But they stick to that principle that your keynote is. You know, they do what they say they're going to do.
Yes.
And they have maintained that for during COVID, before COVID, but like especially during and after COVID. To me, that is more important than eat price.
Yes.
Like I was just doing what you say you're going to do, being on time, doing quality work, and not you know, screwing me. That's the best thing.
That's what I need, being on time. Was it directed at me? No,
No, you're never late.
No. But actually, one of our nominees for Service Provider of the Year is going to be on the show with me next week. R&R Pool Care.
Oh, nice.
They're going to come in and talk. So, you know, we've had Restaurant of the Year. I know we have the Babcock House out of Appomattox has been nominated. Smith Mountain Lake Coffee House up in Smith Mountain Lake, Simply Vanilla Gourmet Cheesecake has been nominated for Restaurant of the Year.
Okay, so Smith Mountain Lake Coffee House, right?
Yes.
So we were going through the area. I was taking photos for a contractor last week, and going through it, it dawned on me that Heather talks about this place, Smith Mountain Lake Coffee House, all the time.
I do.
Right?
I do.
And like Laura and I were in the car, and I was like, "Let's stop there, right?" Because she talks about it all the time. So let's try it out. I'm telling you,
how were your feelings
it
about
was
that?
fantastic. Like we go in and like first of all, it looks fantastic now. Like it's just wonderful in there. But like we both like we were ready to drive up there just for lunch. It was such a great experience. They were so nice. Everything we had. So well done on the. And you didn't tell me to go. Like you just been talking about it, and then we went, and it lived up to everything. So,
I'm gonna tell you real quick a story about Smith Mountain Lake Coffee House real fast, because a couple of weeks ago, this was before I got COVID. This was like a month ago.
Yeah.
I had a sinus infection, really bad sinus infection. Well, my husband made me get COVID tested for that too, just because, you know, he has really bad asthma, so I understand. So I went to the Velocity Care out at the lake because that's where my daughter works. And so the funny thing was, I was mad at my husband for making me go. I'm not gonna lie. I was furious. I was like, I knew I just had a sinus infection and I just didn't want to get up and go. And it was on a Sunday and I was just like, this is not happening. So he went to go pick up our daughter who had stayed at her grandparents' house in Amherst. So I said, you know what? That's fine. I'm going to go and I'm going to get me some lunch and I'm going to make a day of it. So I went to the doctor. They confirmed I did not have COVID.
What you already knew.
What I knew.
Yep.
Got my Z pack for my sinus infection. And so I was like, yes, I'm up here in at the lake. I am so going to SML. So I did. I called in my order, turkey bacon ranch. I mean, the turkey bacon club they have.
Yes.
Oh,
I think it's what I had.
Yes.
It's called the White House turkey.
Yes,
or something like that.
the White House turkey. Yes, sir. It is my favorite. I get it on a croissant. I think it comes on ciabatta, but I'm not sure.
It was amazing.
But so, called it in. Got my smoothie because y'all know me. I love my frozen mocha, so I got my mocha. But then you walk in. So here's the bad part. I was like, okay, I don't need curbside. I'm gonna go in because I don't have COVID. And so, gosh, all the pastries.
I know, right?
Like the pastry shelf.
You have to walk past the desserts first.
No, I know. And so, like, I had to get some of their glazed. They do cronuts, the glazed croissants.
God.
So I had to get some of those, but I will say the funniest thing too is like there's this family there and they didn't even know their little girl was licking the case, like where the case were.
That was me, Heather.
It was the cutest thing ever. But their stuff is that good. Like you just want to look at it and just lick the case.
So we walk in and we haven't been there before. We walk in and like literally before we got to the register, we had already picked up 3 slices of cake.
Yeah.
So, and then we get to the register, then order the food. So, like, before we even talked to one person, we're like, we want that cake, that cheesecake, and we got and all of them were delicious.
Mhm.
Like all of, and the turkey was, the turkey club was fantastic, and
Yep.
it was just, oh my gosh, and the view, it was wonderful.
Yep.
So I cannot, I literally want to go up there today and go eat lunch. That's what I'm kind of craving it now.
It's fabulous.
So, yeah.
And that's, and that's why I encourage people, and that's why I love the fact that we have Restaurant of the Year. Go to these local out of the way
God, yeah,
places
they're
you don't
great.
know. The Babcock House in Appomattox, they're, like I said, they've been nominated, and their food is, not only is it delicious, a lot of it is made like they make it there, like
That's awesome.
it's plated beautifully. It's just what is it like? What is it like? You just seeing the picture makes you hungry.
Yeah.
Like it's mouth watering.
Yep.
And then Simply Vanilla. I mean,
oh my,
what,
come on.
What can you not say good about Simply Vanilla? It's just
I took those
fabulous.
like she came in for Brandon's podcast, and I took the cookies home, and I mean they were fantastic. Like it was just like, man, and these are local. Like that's what I'm saying. There's some stellar places in this area that you live here forever, and you're like, oh, I haven't heard of that. Like the coffee house,
Yep.
or like it's like, and then you go and it's like wait a minute, I've been missing out. I feel like I've been missing out for too long.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say too, because, and these two weren't nominated for Restaurant of the Year, although they probably should be at some point. But nominations are closed, so I can't do it this year. But for Valentine's, like I know we ordered from Purple Door Catering. I don't know if you've ever had Purple Door
they're
Catering.
fantastic.
And she's getting ready to open a soup shop in downtown. And so she has this Cajun crawfish soup.
Yeah.
Dude.
You say downtown here?
So
downtown
good.
Lynchburg?
Downtown Lynchburg.
Okay.
I mean, and I say that sadly because I live in Bedford, so it's easier for me to get it here in Bedford.
I'll bring you some. I'll bring you some on the way in.
Oh, I mean, I order it and pick it up because they
Yeah.
have a place so the soup place is going to be in downtown, but I think you can also pick it up at their Forest location too.
There we go.
But she did this cocoa filet meal or something for
Yeah.
Valentine's Day, and I was at Him Six, so I had to have someone pick it up and bring it to me. But then also the Blue Lady here in Bedford did a Valentine's meal. Sadly, I was supposed to go. And I had to cancel because I was COVID positive, and I didn't feel like Jay and Tommy wanted me, trucking up in there with that,
COVID.
even for some good pot roast. But I have heard nothing but fabulous.
Yeah.
My daughter and son-in-law did go, but I have heard their food there that night was good. So
Central Virginia, you got some good food.
I just can't say enough about our small local businesses and how much we need to keep supporting them. I mean, your Ruby Tuesdays, they're great, whatever. Well, anyway, but I'm just saying, like, but local, like, stay local. You can't miss, man. It's so good.
It's so good, and they really and
Yeah, I'm hungry.
I know I'm going to go out right after this. And the thing you have to remember about local restaurants, right? Like it is a fight. All right, like it's a fight for a small restaurant, and so they're going to go above and beyond to win your business. And it's like some of the chains, like I'm not knocking them, but they can coast. And quality will start slacking and customer service. But really, like, I mean, for the play, especially the ones that have been on this podcast, Talk Local to Me, the restaurant, they all the way around, they are amazing. Service, customer service, food quality, everything. So just like local, like you can't go wrong.
Nope.
Like you just can't go wrong.
In your local wineries,
Oh.
we live in like winery country around here, and so y'all know I'm gonna hit those up. And then, I'm gonna do a quick shout out to a local orchard. We just had Gross's Orchard just
Yes.
joined. And I went up there to chat with
they're
Ronnie
fun.
and Kathy. And a lot of people don't realize they're open year round.
Oh.
They are open. And I went in there and like just all the jams, the jellies, the produce, the stuff
It's
that
something
they have
everywhere.
there.
Everywhere on the wall.
Oh
There's
my
there's
gosh.
something delicious.
I had peach cider.
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't even know you could have peach cider. Like I've had apple cider, and I'll tell you, Chapel Creek Farms, who has been here before, love their apple cider. But I've had the Gross's Orchard apple cider too. Great. I didn't realize though that you could do peach cider.
There we go. See,
Mine
I'm
was
really
blown.
hungry.
I was done. See, and I didn't know I was gonna be able to. I was sitting here thinking I won't go talk for a whole hour. We should have known better.
Well, you bring up food. You've got me for two. So,
But but yeah, that's what I was. We totally got off the tangent of talking about people that
Sorry
were
about that.
nominated. But
Smith Mountain Lake Coffee House. Got me sidetracked. I'm so sorry. I derailed the whole thing.
So no, that's good though. That's good though. This is what I love doing though. Talking about our businesses is like, as you can tell, I just get hyped up about it. I love it. But one thing I did want to mention though before we leave, and you've started a new podcast.
Yes.
And I have been listening to it.
Oh, good.
And, okay, I'm just gonna say I love Talk Local to me,
Yeah.
but this one, the Why So Cold, it's catchy, man. I
Aw.
can't. It's my favorite podcast right now. I
Thank
listen to it
you.
all the time.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit more about it.
Okay, so the condensed story is like a couple years ago. My very first podcast was a true crime podcast because my wife was listening to them, and she kept telling me she was listening to Up and Vanished, and she said, "Hey, you should do something like this. You're a lot like this guy. He does videos, and you should do a podcast." And I was like, "All right, well, let's try it." And we did the Route 29 Stalker one,
Mhm.
and you know that one, it was a fun experience to do with my wife, but it was very podcast wise, I didn't know what I was doing. So, but I literally went to Amazon, bought a recorder, and started recording. That was my first podcast. That's what got me into it. But during that, like while we were calling people and literally knocking on doors, this was pre-COVID, by the way, knocking on doors, interviewing people, I heard a lot of cold cases in our area, and they always kind of stuck with me. They were like, I need to revisit that down the road. That doesn't apply to this podcast. But so then during that course, like that's where Why So Cold came from. And it kind of started off as like I just kind of want to focus on different cases per episode. And I did one for a local case here, Slim Walker. A lot of people know about that case. James Walker, who disappeared on April 7th, 2000. And I did that and loved talking with Bob, his son, on the podcast. We did some news stuff, and then business picked up, and then I felt the need to. I wanted to do something to give back in a way, in my own little way, and not And the best that I could come up with is like I'm a really good kind of storyteller. I enjoy it. Not that I'm really good. I enjoy doing it. But that's Why So Cold. So now I've got 10 episodes in this season. I think we're on episode 7 that's been released. But yeah, we revisit a cold case every episode, and I try to include any news or any police calls or whatever. But I'm telling you, so the first couple ones, I'm kind of getting in my groove, right? Like you research the case and you write it out, and I have all the scripts written, and I have someone that helps me write them, just so that I sound educated on the podcast. And then each case though, in this, like that I've done, it gets crazier and crazier. And I want people to remember, like, these are true. Like, so by the end of the next few episodes after this one, you just wait, because the details in them are just insane. And it's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable to me.
Now, have you done one yet? And I haven't been on in the last week, or are you planning to do one on the Short family?
That I am planning on it. The fun part about a podcast that and I'm not saying this one has caught, but it's not doing horribly in the charts, right? Is when you start to catch and people start to listen, all of a sudden I start getting a lot of messages on Facebook. I start getting a lot of emails, and that's starting to happen with this. And that is the importance of, like, that's why this is such a huge platform. Any podcast you do, because people are listening. Like when people tune in, it's an intimate form of communication. They have to seek you out and they push play. You're in their ears, right? So for this one, I'm all of a sudden starting to get cases and stuff I've never heard of. And then the Short case has come up. I've had about 3 or 4 people say, you need to do that. You need to do that. So that's on the list. And a couple of other ones from Facebook. Like I've got people, on the West Coast that messaged me about a couple of cold cases. And one person sent me, God, I felt like a case file. Like I emailed it to me over the weekend. Like, this is the case. You need to look into this one. And that is always,
that's amazing.
Listen, anything that we can do because what happens is, and this is no fault to law enforcement or anybody, what happens is, like, someone goes missing, right? Or someone is found murdered. News and attention to it is intense the first couple of weeks, right? It's intense the first couple of days, the first week or two. Then all of a sudden the news cycle, politics, whatever, something else comes up. And then before you know it, you blink and 25 years goes by and it hasn't been solved.
And that's why they say the first so many hours is critical.
The first 48 is critical. And that, so in this podcast, we kind of ask, well, why is this so cold? Like, let's keep it alive. Let's talk about it, because in the latest episode, we actually interview a local criminal investigator, and his advice is, he was like, no tip is too small.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, even if you think we know about it, call us, because it may lead to something. It may, and really to them, the cases aren't cold. Like, I literally interviewed him, and every case that I had questions about was on the filing cabinet in his office where he sees every day. So it's just a matter of just finding that tip or information or confession or whatever evidence. So I thank you. I'm so glad people are listening, though. I'm so glad you're listening and like it.
Well, I do. What about, and I know we're getting ready to wrap the show up, but what about like not necessarily cold cases, but some that are contentious? Like, okay, so for instance, here in Bedford County, the Haysom family, that's a huge one, because there's so many people that you know, yes, they were tried and convicted, but there's people that, you know, they say they didn't do it. You know, it's still just so controversial. Like, are you thinking about doing anything with any type of things like that?
I have in my brain, I call it idea pit. I have like 3 podcasts that, you know, I wanted to continue the cold case one. Then I have a little special side project I'm working on. But Haysom, that has been on my true crime to do a mini series about that, and I hope I can get to it. But
that would be awesome. That one fascinates me. Every time I read more about it, it's just you know.
It's almost like when you read them, and when I look into some of these cases, they're unbelievable. Like the one I did, and it's coming up, and her name is Debbie Wolf. So when that episode drops, listen to that one, Debbie Wolf, and when you hear that, it's just like, you're like, this can't be real.
Mm-hmm.
This can't really have happened, and it's just insane. But then the whole point of the podcast is one, to keep the cases alive, but to also remember the victims. You know, to remember that you know, they're not made up Hollywood stories. Like, these are real people that family members lost and are, you know, wanting closure for.
So I just looked her up, and like the first line that it even has on here, no way. I'm sorry, because it says, a woman found in a barrel at the bottom of a pond is ruled an accident. Would she just get in and jump in a lake?
Wait until the episode.
Okay.
I'll send you. I will send you a special preview of that one, because that one, when I was reading it and researching it, that was one of the ones that's like, oh, what? Wait a minute, what am I doing here? Mm-hmm. And then the one after that,
mm-hmm.
the one after that is this grocery store. I'm not gonna spoil it, but just wait. You want to subscribe to Why So Cold?
Yep, that's what I was just gonna say. Yeah,
you can go to whysocoldpodcast.com, and that has every episode. I really am trying to be intentional with putting all the evidence that we find, or source material, I should say, so that you know where it's coming from. It's not made up. It's like we found it from somewhere. Even newspaper clippings we have scanned and put in PDF format, and I have for people to download on each episode. So the website is really full-fledged and build it out. So thank you. Yeah. I'm so glad you're listening.
I am. Yeah, it's great. So whysocoldpodcast.com. Yep. Definitely check into that and make sure you're subscribing. And then if you're listening today and you haven't subscribed to Talk Local to Me, do so. You can subscribe on Spotify, Apple. You can go to grovestreet.fm and subscribe from there. Make sure that you are staying informed and involved, and you are learning more about local and how it can help your business by tuning in to Talk Local to Me every Wednesday from noon to 1.